5 years back, I was completely lost in life. I was attending community college out of obligation, but I had no passion in life. My social skills were so poor, my entire first year of college I talked to 0 people, and I hadn't had a girlfriend ever. My grades were middling at best, and I'd frequently see people complete assignments that took me over a week in a few hours. Today marks a year at my dream job, making 200K plus a year, working on things I love, with people that are amazing, and I have friends I regularly hang out with, and a loving girlfriend. Most of all, I feel very invigorated and feel I have a strong purpose in life. While I got lucky sometimes, I believe a lot of what I did is completely repeatable. I want to share some of the things that I did, wisdom I picked up along the way, to hopefully motivate people to achieve the same and be happier. In my lowest part of my life, 5 years back, I realized I really hated what I'd become. I never truly paid attention to what I wanted to be and just coasted life day by day. That's when I saw a movie where the character was brimming with confidence and life. While watching the character and comparing him to myself, I couldn't help but feel intense, bitter jealousy that that person wasn't me. And this feeling drove me for a good amount of the years since then. When I started taking positive actions in my life, my day-to-day slowly started to change. I was less depressed. I started talking to more people once I forced myself to, since I wanted to be more sociable. And I even found myself talking to a girl online, which became my first girlfriend. I would constantly jot down notes about things I wasn't great at and what I should do to improve it. While I still had many of the faults of the me of the previous year, by intentionally focusing on changing myself, my life was slowly getting better. One trait that I think brought me the furthest, which stems from immensely low self-esteem, is my willingness to self-reflect and be critical of myself. After every interaction, I would think about what I could have done better. I would study more confident people's ways of talking and practice talking the same in the mirror. I would spend hours on YouTube looking up tips and tricks on how to talk to people. When I saw people finish assignments faster than me, I would ask them how they thought through the problem to try to mimic their thought process. I think no matter what you're doing, self-reflecting and thinking about how to do things better and faster is how you improve. Always try to learn and improve, and within reason, being critical of yourself is a great trait to have. This was also around the time I would spend many hours every day strategizing and writing notes while listening to self-help gurus. Much of this time was a total waste. While I think some level of advice is good, the reality is that action triumphs everything. I think the ideal split is 20% thinking, 80% action. Thinking about making friends is great, but you'll learn 10x more from actually going out there and actually trying it out. After every action, make sure to reflect and think about things that could have been better, but sitting in your room, listening and thinking only gets you so far. After a good amount of thinking, whatever it is, take action. After college, I repeated what I had been doing. I would examine my life, notice a skill I thought I was missing, then work really hard to gain that skill. I kept repeating this over and over until eventually I got to today. And I really want to stress that all of this is a lot of work. Even today, I regularly try to spend every hour of my day improving various aspects of my life, learning new skills, optimizing processes. If you're not smart and talented, there is no shortcut to suddenly becoming a rock star. It's a gradual process of learning, failing, and trying over and over. But if you keep at it and your goal isn't impossibly hard, I truly believe anyone can achieve anything they put their mind to. Here are a couple last bits of knowledge I came across throughout my journey. Love what you do and be passionate about it. You won't be able to spend all day working on something if you genuinely don't love it or at least get a dull sense of enjoyment from it. I wouldn't say I'm jumping out of bed with joy every day, but I also don't mind working all day on the things I do. Use a to-do list app. I have a short memory and attention span, so I often forget things. If you think of something to do or want to form a new habit, add it to your list. Get in the practice of looking at your list throughout the day and completing each task one by one. It makes tasks feel like a game. You are what you do in your free time.
When reflecting back at when I was most depressed, I realized I was spending most of my day gaming and watching TV, and that it contributed almost nothing to my life. Completely cutting out gaming and TV, movies, gave me a lot more time back. Spend your time throughout the day wisely. Copy from your mentors. Examine thought processes, actions of people that you want to be like, whether it be through biographies or from asking people for advice, and incorporate it into yourself. But when getting advice, keep in mind that advice is often subjective, and advice that worked for one person might not be right for you. Set a life goal, yearly goal, monthly goal, weekly goal, daily goal. Some of these might not come instantly, and it's okay to amend them. My life goals changed many times throughout the years, but it's impossible to measure your success if you don't have a goal to measure yourself by. By setting a clear long-term goal, you can set clear near-term goals, and through those, you can figure out what you should be doing on a day-to-day basis. Working on a problem reduces your fear of it. I used to procrastinate greatly when I didn't want to do something. Honestly, but understand that people are afraid of the unknown. By confronting something head-on and working on it, you'll be less afraid of it. Thinking slow and fast, this is an interesting one. Before every action, realize that there's an instinctual part of your brain that tells you one thing, which is the part of your brain that thinks fast. When starting out, your fast brain will tell you many things that aren't helpful. Should I say hi to that person? No, don't do it. You're scared. Should I start working on that assignment? No, play games instead. Actively catch your brain doing this and think through things logically, slowly. Think about your goals, what you want to achieve, then make a logical choice of what would be the better thing to do. This can be highly uncomfortable, but growing a habit of thinking through things logically, then taking actions off of it is very powerful. Break down large problems into smaller pieces. When you have a big problem, it's hard to tell where you should even start. First, break it into smaller, actionable pieces and write out the concrete steps to solving that problem. Then start working through that list. This applies for goals as well. Do things as quickly as possible with the least amount of effort, with the highest effectiveness, at the highest quality possible. When I was dumb, I would often circle around for days wasting time. Always try to come up with better ways to achieve a goal. Before I start any task, I always remind myself of this, and often I can come up with creative solutions that take much less effort but lead to better results. Work smart and hard. Same as the above point, but if hard work is lead to success, then donkeys are the king of the jungle. Slight humor. Working hard is a requirement, but to be successful, you have to work smart and hard. Don't focus on putting the hours in, but focus on how effective you're being in whatever goal you're trying to achieve. Nobody's going to give you an award for spending 10 hours on something. Suffering doesn't bring you success. Being effective at something does. Some last thoughts. Some people might read the end and think, wow, you work all day? That sounds stressful and not fun at all. And I think that's a fair point. To be clear, I still take Saturday off every week to relax and do some activities that aren't directly productive towards my goals. I still spend a few hours a day on social media and watching YouTube videos. I'm not a robot. Still, I think not a lot of people would enjoy the way I live. Honestly, working on things I love, having a goal in life, and working really hard every day has brought me the most fulfillment I've ever had. Knowing that I'm finally good at something and working with really smart people brings me a great amount of joy. Having meaningful connections with people is beautiful, and I love my girlfriend, as does she. But life isn't all full of roses. I'm never truly fully happy, as there's always things I see lacking in myself. Reflectively, I'm still not the confident and charismatic guy in the movies I saw many years back. There's stress, there's disappointments, I still fail many times, but I've never felt more happy and fulfilled.